Hey everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. I am joined today by the Boston Mass, Jose Raymond, legendary founding father of the 212 division, just retired. Very, very emotional year for all of Jose's many fans, his many friends. Welcome to the show again, Jose. So glad to have you on.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. I don't want to be irrelevant quickly. I got to stay out there.
I don't think that's ever going to be a problem. But let's start at the Olympia. That was your 10th Olympia contest. It was your last one. Bob Chick let you come to the mic and say a few words and everything, which thank God. I was really hoping he would do that.
That was awesome.
How emotional was it? Because that's a show that you've done so well at, and you were such a. It's hard to imagine the 212 Olympia from now on without you and without Flex, because you're like two of the guys I always have looked forward to seeing. It's going to be very, very strange next year.
It was pretty awesome, first of all, because I had no clue they were going to do that Bob was going to bring me back out and kind of give me my last hurrah there. So it was a surprise to me. I almost lost it out there.
I'm surprised you didn't.
It was very strange, but man, what a great feeling. I have that video forever. My wife recorded it and put it up on Instagram, and when I got to see it, blew my mind because it zoomed in on me and then it zoomed on the crowd, and it was just awesome. What an amazing experience, and I'll have that forever. And it was cool because Bob was right there. And Bob, a lot of people don't know, I won my first national show with Bob. I won the lightweight at the 2000 USA.
Yeah.
And that was the one that Bob finally turned pro at. So I was in the overall with Bob there, and he and I go way back, and it was Bob's got a lot of respect for me, and it made me feel great. And bottom line, like I said, I'll have that forever. And it was cool.
You've always had good routines. It seemed to me like you put a little extra effort into that one to make it, just something to really remember you by. It was Faithfully, and was there another song you had mixed into it too?
Yeah, I did it my way.
My way, yeah.
And that was something that when I was down in Tampa for the Tampa Pro, and I was sitting with Peter McGuff, and that was kind of for him too, It was something he said to me. He's like, you gotta pose to that. He's like, that would be so fitting. And I love Peter, man, and it was kind of just a way to send a high five to Peter at the same time, and I liked the idea. I did do it my way, and I went out on my own terms, and that's what I wanted to do. So, and Faithfully, for the fans and friends, people close to me know I posed to it like probably 7 times throughout my career. It's just, that's another one of those, not Faithfully, it was Don't Stop Believing.
Don't Stop Believing. Okay, I posed Faithfully. I thought that.
Yeah, I did too at one point.
Both great songs.
Unbelievable, yeah. But both of the songs meant something special to me, so I did them both, and it was cool. It was cool.
Do you think it was very appropriate that it was you and Flex together
during
the last Olympia? Because you guys have had you're good friends, but you've been such close rivals all these years too.
Yeah, because for 10 years we've been competing together, right. And even my first year, our rookie year, and the show that it was so close that I could have won the Atlantic City Pro. He beat me. Right. Yeah. I mean, I've come second to Flex. I don't know how many times. I'll have to look it up, but too many times to count. Right. And then we go to the Olympia, and he beat me by 1 spot at the Olympia.
Wow.
And that's kind of the my career in a nutshell. It was, but I've said it before. Without Flex, I wouldn't have become the Boston Mass. I wouldn't have had the fans that I had. I wouldn't have been as successful as I was. because for a while there, if he wasn't there, it was almost a shoo-in that I was going to win.
Right.
And even if he was there, it was going to be a good battle. So, he pushed me to be my best.
And likewise, I don't think he would be as good if it weren't for you, Dave Henry, Eduardo, Guy. There's really just a handful of guys that pushed him hard all those years.
Oh yeah. He'll say it. He knows that we were all coming for him, so he couldn't come in any less than 95%, or he was going to be in trouble.
Right.
Because he's good enough to win at 95%, right. and he did a few times. But
every champ has it, I know.
Yeah, he knows that he had to bring it, and it was fitting just because I came in with Flex and I went out with Flex, and he's just a great guy, and I've said it many times. Even though he's almost 10 years younger than me, he's someone I look up to. I look up to the way he carries himself and the way he handles his business and the way everything about him. He's an unbelievable businessman, and it's very rare that a smaller guy, he very well may be the #1 guy in bodybuilding right now, as far as popularity, the respect factor, the way that people look up to him, the way that in my eyes, he is. Yeah. And I know Phil won 7 big boy Olympias, and Sean Roden just won the big boy Olympia, and you got Rolly and all the other guys and Rami. But for my money, Flex Lewis is #1 in the world.
You know what? I would say that those guys all have fans, but I don't think any of them have, and this goes for you too. You and Flex both have fans that admire you not just for the physique, but as people. Flex is just a great guy. He's just one of the most honest, genuine guys you're ever going to meet. Generous, he'd give you the shirt off his back. There's not many. It doesn't matter if you have the greatest physique or if you have, you need that personality and that real genuine quality that he has, and you have too. That's why you've both been huge fan favorites.
Yeah, I think if you look back to the way he carried himself, I've met his parents on a ton of occasions, and that's a huge factor. His parents are amazing people, and they instilled in him from day one how to be a businessman and how to represent yourself. And he never ever got caught up in any of the social media shit talking and talking. If someone said something bad about him, he just would look the other way or ignore it, or he just wouldn't get caught up in it. And some of the other people have, and that's what separates. Phil, I love him. He's one of the greatest bodybuilders ever. He's a great guy. Unfortunately, he got caught in a couple social media instances, and I'm not saying they were right or wrong, and I personally don't hold anything against him for what he did, but you would never see Flex do that. The Louis Marco thing, you wouldn't see Flex respond, and that just that's why. Yeah. Phil may have, say, 2 million followers and Flex has 1 million, but you don't see anyone ever bash Flex.
Right. Yeah.
Just because he doesn't even give them the opportunity.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
that's what makes a difference.
I asked Ronnie Coleman because this applies to all you guys, because social media has changed everything so much, where the fans or trolls or whatever have a chance to interact with you where they never had that before. But I asked Ronnie. I said, you don't ever. How do you deal with all the negativity online and people talking shit? He goes, I don't even notice. He says, I don't have time for that crap. I really, I just.
Yeah, he's got 8 kids. How does he have time for social media?
That's true.
I'm sure Ronnie had someone else helping him out, doing it for him.
That's true. So, okay, the Olympian was 2 weeks later was the Dominican Republic show, Punta Cana?
Well, was it 2 weeks? Or 1 week later was Korea.
Okay.
And then probably 2 or 3 weeks after that was Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
And then 4 or 5 weeks after that was Japan.
Tokyo. So, but your win, you got your correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm wrong all the time with these numbers and stats. That was your 10th win in Punta Cana?
No, it was 12.
See? I told you.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I haven't even counted. I know it's at least 12.
Yeah. The problem is I go sometimes off these websites and they're missing a couple contests, and I don't realize it any better.
Yeah.
So 12 wins. I mean, that's not a bad way to retire as a pro, because the vast majority of pros, as we know, will never win a show. Much less 2, 3. Forget about 12. You're in a very elite group when you've won more than 10 pro shows. So that was again, that was kind of pro, because both of the promoters. These are guys that put the show on. So, and you got to do it in a Latin American country to represent, because you're technically Puerto Rican, but that must have been a cool victory for you too, because it was Victor and John put the show on. They wanted some good competitors to come over, and you helped out. You came over, made their show better, and won that. And so what was it? You knew you wanted to win, I'm sure, one more show. I'm sure you were hoping to win at least one more show in this last slew of shows that you did right before you retired. So was it a big relief to you? Was it how did it feel to win the one?
It felt great. It wasn't a relief. It was I knew it was going to be a tough show. I knew the lineup. I knew who was doing it. I know that Thomas from Czech Republic was doing it, and I knew that Dobry was doing it, and a few other guys that were good. And just the way the things have been going with my hip, that I couldn't train, I'm like, the pro division is good enough that if I can't bring it, then I could very easily have been second, third in that show.
Yeah.
And luckily that I was just big and really hard, and that neither one of them were enough to knock me off. If you looked at pictures online, the kid Tomas looked unbelievable, but in person he looked very thin next to me.
Pictures are a very interesting thing, aren't they?
Yeah, right. I thought he looked awesome in person, but when you do see them standing next to me, I even asked a few of the judges. I was like, was it? I thought that kid was gonna possibly beat me, and they're like, no, it really wasn't that close. They're like, he's really good, but there's just certain areas where he's not big enough, And it was unbelievable, just a great experience. It's exactly as I had envisioned it. We had a blast down there, and we got to bring something special to the Dominican fans. And John and Victor went way above and beyond for me, not only for me, but for the entire everyone, all the competitors. And it was such a beautiful place. The hotel, the Hard Rock we stayed at. Yeah. And it was just, that's what it's all about. And that's what, a few years back I told you, probably 5 years ago, that I'm no longer going to compete in these shows if the promoters aren't going to give back.
Right.
And one, it's either going to be to take care of expenses, or to increase the prize money.
Right.
Because if I fly myself to the Dominican, put myself up for $3,000, even if I win, I lose.
That's true.
So these guys went above and beyond. Just like the Korean promoter and Hide in Japan, and all those guys went above and beyond. And those are the shows that I would do.
Now, just, I haven't traveled to Asia, but if you had to pay your own way to Korea and Japan, well, let's just say 2 tickets, because you take Michaela with you everywhere, and the hotel, I mean, if they didn't cover all those expenses, what's that going to run you?
Oh, that would be easily probably $6-7 grand.
Oh, jeez.
If you include meals and missed work, if you didn't buy the ticket in time, the ticket could be $2,500.
Wow.
But the flights alone average about $1,500, and so that would be $3,000 right there for 2 flights. Then you're talking hotel for. You're not going to just stay there 3 days.
Yeah. You're
going to stay there 5 or 6 days, so that's another couple grand, and then meals. Easily $7,000.
Yeah.
And then if you don't win the show,
boy, You really
you're
feel
out
it.
of luck.
Yeah. Yeah, Flex actually talked about this in an interview we did a couple months ago. You know, he said he was campaigning for years to get these promoters in places like that to pay to bring because they would offer to pay him or cover his expenses, but like nobody else.
Right.
No, that's bullshit. Because look, it's like you just went over. Look at how much money you would have to put out of your own pocket to make their show a better show.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Well,
one.
most of the guys did pay their own way.
Wow. Well,
And if you don't have a sponsor, and the sponsors, even when I had a sponsor, none of the sponsors would have paid the flight to Korea or Japan. You know, they would only pay for a flight to a place where they're representing. Say they had a booth at the event, then they would pay for your flight,
no,
so you would work the booth.
right.
But no,
Business,
it's
business.
a tough go, man.
Okay. So you finished the career off in Tokyo. Was that your first time in Tokyo, or had you been there before?
No, I'd never been there. That was the first time. Awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, it looks. I've seen it in movies and TV shows my whole life, and it looks just like a crazy, almost like an alien world or something.
Yeah,
Is it
it's
that
the
different?
biggest city I've ever seen in my life. Like
Really?
we had lunch and breakfast a few times at Jacob Wilson was staying at a different hotel than us.
Yeah.
He stayed in a big high rise, and we had breakfast on like the 40th floor,
Yeah.
and you could oversee the entire city. And if anyone goes to my YouTube and watches my
Lost in Japan.
yeah,
The
if you
Boston, Mass.
check that
Lost
out,
in
there's,
Japan.
there's a good view of the city, and it's like 8 times the size of New York.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
gigantic. There's 42 million people there
What?
in Tokyo. Yeah,
That's insane.
yeah, it is insane.
Wow.
So I didn't realize it was that big, and it was just it went as far as the eye could see. You could see Mount Fuji, and just before Mount Fuji, you could see city.
Right.
It's like as if the city went on forever.
So did you have like a guide that spoke Japanese, or does everybody there speak English?
Enough of them spoke English. I was lucky enough to have a fan who's now a friend. His name's Ben Sharples. He is a school teacher over there. He's from England.
Hmm.
Yeah, and he actually George from the UK hooked me up with him.
Oh, George, UK. Hmm.
Yeah, and he came and met up with me. He did my music for me, burnt it on a CD, got in a train for an hour and a half ride to come give it to me.
Hmm.
And then came to the show and hung out with us afterwards. Great guy. But, you know, he helped out with a lot of the translation. But for the most part, people did speak English enough that I knew what they were saying.
Yeah.
And it was funny. And they were just so nice. They were some of the most polite and nice fans I've ever seen in my life. Like, I've been everywhere, and these guys they're just by nature, by their culture, they're very polite and friendly people.
The stereotype is them bowing down, so yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable. There's a few scenes in the videos that we did where there was like 8 competitors in a restaurant, and we were walking by the restaurant, and they all ran out of the restaurant and were grabbing me and posing with me, and it was so funny. Like you wouldn't believe it if you didn't see it. Like I couldn't explain it to you.
Hide Yamagishi always told me, you know, bodybuilders are a very, very rare thing in Japan. It was looked at as a very strange pursuit, so I can imagine the kind of looks you got walking around Tokyo.
Oh, yeah, but it's changing because their fitness and bodybuilding culture is growing by the minute. And they all knew us and knew me and were really respectful and appreciative that we were there. And man, that show was insane. Like they went crazy as far as they had giant like jumbotrons on either side of the stage.
Yeah.
They had these videos put together to music with each one of us posing, clips from the Olympia, like introducing us. And then not even an hour after the show ended, there was like a VIP after party that was upstairs in the venue.
Yeah.
And they had a video already set to music, 2 clips of the show itself. So the show had just taken place, and they already put together a highlight video.
Wow. That's faster. That's faster than Nate, who puts these videos together pretty fast.
Yeah,
that is insane. That's nuts. So they're
So they really and the place was beautiful. It was huge. It held I believe 4,000 fans, and it was sold out both days. The first day for the amateur division, and the second day for us.
Wow, because I believe the Orleans Arena only seats about 5,000.
No, that's 11,000.
11,000. You see how I am with numbers? I saw.
Yeah.
Okay, well, 4,000 for a first-time pro show and a bodybuilding show in Japan. That's hats off to Hide. That's a big success.
It was unbelievable, and I think it's only going to grow. They'll have to get a bigger place to do it at.
So that was your last show. Did you go up to the mic and do any kind of speech at that show?
Oh yeah, that was another special situation because they did a similar thing. It was funny. They kept bringing me, Sean Clarita, and David Henry out.
Yeah.
And then they put David back and just me and Sean Clarita. Then they put Sean Clarita back and just me and David. And then they put us all back, and they go, Jose, you ready for one more? It was Tim Gardner. Yeah. And I was gassed, and I just looked. I said, sure, let's do it. He's like, all right, Jose, come out to center stage, and now you're just doing it by yourself. Hit a couple shots. So I thought I was going to pose down again with someone. Yeah. But he brought me out center stage by myself. And, it was pretty exciting because as a kid growing up, the guys that were superstars were Flex Wheeler, Sean Ray, Milos,
Kevin, Dorian.
Yeah. But so when he called me center stage by myself, the first guy to stand up was Flex Wheeler right in front of me. Stood up clapping. And, that was another emotional moment. The guy who came out to hand me my trophy was Milos. And he had something really nice to say to me. And the guy who was emceeing was Sean Ray.
Oh, my God.
The first person to give me a hug when I came off stage was Iris Kyle.
Oh, wow.
Arguably the greatest bodybuilder of all time. Yeah. So there were superstars among superstars. The promoter was Hide. Yeah. I got to compete with David Henry. It was unreal. Yeah. And then they brought my wife out, and she was standing there backstage, like right side stage as I was doing everything. And then Sean brought her out to be there with me. And, it couldn't have been, you couldn't have written a better script. And hats off to Tim Gardner, too, because, they had a long couple of days there, especially after flying 16 hours. And then, they put in the extra time to really work us and let us work for it. That was something. A lot of guys would be like, David's a clear winner, done, whatever. But they switched us around, put me in the middle, put Sean in the middle, put David in the middle, took us off. So there's just two of us, and they worked the hell out of us. And, it was a really, really cool thing that I appreciated because, they gave us a chance to fight. Yeah. And that's all you're looking for. That's all you're asking for as a bodybuilder is give me a chance. Right. And so I had nothing to be upset about, or I had every chance, under the sun to prove myself, and I did. Yeah. And it was awesome. Just all around an unbelievable experience.
Probably the only way it could have even been like more perfect for a movie was if somehow the pro show had been in Boston, but
right.
I don't know. Tokyo's a little more exotic locale. I think this actually worked out for the best for you.
Yeah.
But again, just like Flex was at your last Olympia, David's somebody day one as a pro, it's been you and David back and forth too.
Yeah.
Many flip-flops. He's beat you, you beat him. A lot of close decisions between you.
Oh, yeah. And we've traveled the world together as well. Like, we've been everywhere from Korea to India to Japan and everywhere you can imagine with David. And every time we end up helping each other. Like, I had to put all his tan on for him. And, that's something that we do. A lot of people don't know that. But when we travel, we don't have, he doesn't bring his wife because, his wife's home with the kid. And he doesn't have someone to do that. So I would always help him or he would help me. And And that's the stuff we got to do, even though I'm like, this guy could kick my ass right now.
You don't miss a big spot on his back?
Yeah, no, I do the best I can. Because deep down, you know, I want to beat him, but I want to beat him at his best, you know. So, you know, we helped each other out, and that was another occasion where even on my last show, I was helping put David's color on for him.
Yeah, that's fun. Where was Carla? Carla Salati from Protein.
She was at Nationals. It was the same day.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, in Miami.
Can't be too late. Well, that's important. They have like 1,000 people to tan up.
I know.
So the big news with you, medical-wise, is, you know, your hip. I was watching those videos, skimming through them, and at the beginning of like you walking around Tokyo, you're walking fine. By maybe a couple hours in, I could tell you're in pain. You weren't really like, you couldn't see it in your face too much, but I could see it was getting more and more. Is walking?
Yeah, I walked a
painful?
lot more than I should have when I was in Tokyo. Because we were walking back and forth to like Jake's hotel to our hotel to go get something to eat, or walking to the venue, and then we just walked to go shopping and see sightseeing. And I don't even notice it a lot of the time until people are like, dude, you're limping. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I am. I just don't notice it. But yeah, it sucked. My hip has been hurting for 2 years now, and I just saw the doctor yesterday and scheduled the surgery. I'm having full hip replacement on February 7th. I feel like I text you. I said I felt like my legs are tiny. I went in there and he brought his assistant in to show her my legs.
Yeah.
And he's like, look at this thing. Like, how the hell are we going to get in there? He goes, no, we need 7 more weeks to let your leg atrophy. Do not exercise. Do not train. Because we're doing it anteriorly in the front of right below my hip flexor. Like,
yeah.
So right there is where the lastus vateralis, the medialis, the sartorius.
So they're gonna cut. They're gonna cut through all that.
No, they're gonna cut in, make an incision, and move it all aside.
Oh wow!
And because it's such a hard muscle in the rectus femoris, they have to get these like almost like a crowbar to move it back to get to the bone.
And then clamp it there.
Right, and he said that's gonna be the hardest part of your recovery, is recovering from the trauma of me pulling back your muscle to get to the bone.
Wow.
If they, you know, if it was someone with very little muscle there, they could get right in and they saw off the head of your femur.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
they're putting the implant thing in there, the fake.
Right.
Huh.
So once it's in, it's fine. But you know, my leg is still pretty pumped. So he's like, you really have to. It's called the TFL, the tensa fascia lata. Is it like mine sticks out. When I was laying on my side, he was laughing, showing his assistant. He's like, "Look at this thing. How the hell are we gonna get in there?" So he's like, "No, we need some more time for that to atrophy." And you know, just from limping, which I don't even realize that I'm doing it. It's definitely getting smaller. I mean, I noticed it on stage from 2 years ago to now.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, I notice it more than some people.
Right.
But a doctor who doesn't know me is going to be like, "Wow, your leg is still crazy looking." So
I'm surprised he didn't want you to like wait. He didn't want to put it off for like 3-4 months or more.
Well, he would if he could, but I said enough's enough. I want it done. I want to live a pain-free life, you know. Yeah. I'm sick of being in pain. I keep getting in and out of my truck and you know, tying my shoes. I don't even tie my shoes. The hardest thing I do in a day is put my socks on.
Right.
That's painful as hell because I just can't move in that direction. And I can't lift my knee up. That's the pain that hurts.
Oh, wow.
So I just want it done. I need it done. I need to move on and start healing and set new goals. And I can't wait to be able to train again and squat again and deadlift. And you know,
there's no limitations. Once that's healed up, there's no limitations on it, right?
The only limitation is to take my time. It's like you will recover. You could possibly recover in 95% of the muscle mass that you once had.
Oh, wow.
He said, but it's going to take longer than you're going to want to wait. He's like, it takes time for the implant to take to the bone and for it to, for everything to get accustomed to what is going on there. And then you can slowly get stronger and stronger and stronger. And, I will be squatting again, but I can't do it 6 months later. I can't do it probably even a year later. It might take a year and a half before everything is 100% ready to go. But he said I'll be exercising, and I probably will be squatting and doing everything within 6 months.
I mean, you're also fortunate because Tito went through this about 3 years ago or 2 years ago.
It's been 2 years, yeah, just over 2 years.
So you could, any question you have, because this, it's similar. He's a guy that trains his ass off. He's super strong, a lot of muscle mass relative to regular people. So any questions you have about the rehab, the healing, the rehab, he has all the answers for you because he just had one hip replaced, right?
No, he had both.
Oh, he had both. Jeez.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I'm hoping I don't have to, because that sucks.
You only had pain on one side this whole time, right? The last couple of years.
Yeah, the bad pain is in the left. Yeah.
Oh. I mean, so hopefully that's a good sign that it's just this one that needs to be replaced. And then
yeah, I hope so. Yeah, and he's already squatting 400 pounds, deadlifting 400 pounds. He's 175 pounds, so he's a freak. I know I'll be able to do it, and I look forward to it. There's no need for me to be doing crazy, outrageous weight, but enough to stimulate and really be able to get good leg workouts in.
Yeah, I mean you're gonna get. You can already be ready that you're gonna take a lot of shit the first time anyone sees you training heavy, or if there's a picture or video, they're gonna say, "Oh, he's an idiot. He's gonna fuck up his hip replacement and this and that."
Yeah.
But, they don't realize what's heavy for you is not. It's all relative. So if you're squatting 405 or something, that would be a very bad idea for most people who've had a hip replacement if that was like the max weight they ever used. But you used to bang out, was it 30 reps, 31 reps you did with 405 one time?
Oh, yeah. I used to do 500 for 15 reps.
Yeah, so.
It was, 400 pounds is not a lot, comparatively.
Yeah. I mean, you're not gonna be out to break records, but like you said, you're gonna still need to train heavy enough to get a good workout, and that's
right.
For you. That's going to take a certain amount of weight.
I want to set new goals and see what I can do, see what I can bring myself back to, and feel good, and see how much I can put back on there. I've always had big legs, even as a little kid. I don't like the feeling of having small legs. I don't like that feeling. Yeah. I can see it. I can see where all the muscle disappeared from. Especially when I would do quarter turns. Wow. That's when I would see it because the muscle used to jump off my hip and be like, "Whoa." Right. You could see and go down to my knee. Now it's a lot flatter from the side. From the front, I can kind of hide it. You can't really see it as much. Yeah. But when I did quarter turns, you could really see it.
So you talk about setting new goals. I've seen you all. You maintain a pretty lean 240 in the off season. Diet down to 210 around that area. Are you going to try? Are you intentionally going to try to lose mass, or do you have any idea, a plan of what you want to do with your body? I mean, you've talked about maybe becoming more like Tito, someone who's more like a functional trainer. He's very strong, very fit, runs up mountains, jumps into triathlons with 1 day notice.
Yeah,
he's a crazy, crazy athlete, like you were before. Yeah. Before you put all this muscle on.
Well, I certainly see no reason to ever be 240. I didn't like it when I was competing. I didn't like the feeling that I felt when I was that heavy. I just knew it was kind of a necessary evil to put on the weight and the muscle, the mass that I needed to. But I did it quite easily. So it wasn't like I was stuffing my face and watching my watch and timing. I would just eat, and I would blow up to that weight. But right now, I'm not even eating that much, and I'm every bit of 225. And Like I'm trying to put the governor on,
Yeah.
and I'm still over 225. You know.
Well, you've told me years ago when we were talking about dieting and stuff, because people are paranoid about losing. They don't want to do cardio. They don't want to do the stepper, especially. And you said even back then, it's something about your body doesn't really want to lose muscle mass.
No.
It retains muscle.
Yeah, I mean that's the genetics that I have, and I think a lot of it is because I've been training so long.
Mm.
The muscle I have was the majority of it was put on as a natural bodybuilder. You know, that's my genetics. So I'm not just going to disappear. And when you think about it, at my height, even if I was 185. 5'3", 185 is still a big dude.
Yeah.
And
you'd be I know if you can get down to 185, you're going to be friggin' look like you could jump on a stage within a week or two if you wanted to. That's how
yeah,
lean
and
you're
I
gonna
don't foresee myself being 185 anytime soon.
be.
So I'm thinking, if I was 200 pounds, I would be functional, I'd feel really good, and I'd be in good shape. And that's about what I would like to be, somewhere around 200 pounds. I'd still be really strong. When I did that 405 for 30 reps on the squat,
Yeah.
I was just over 200 pounds, and maybe 210,
Hmm.
because I was only a week out from a 202 show.
So were there other guys doing that pros versus pros thing that were like closer to 300 pounds when you were doing it?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Everyone was in that. There was Juan Morel, Brad Rowe, John De La Rosa. There was a giant Hawaiian guy who had 1,000-pound squat, and he was well over 300 pounds.
Jeez.
But he was a power squatter, so he only did 1 or 2 reps. So then he tried to compete against us. I think he got to like maybe 11, and they had to call like the paramedics. He was laying on the floor,
Too much poi, not enough cardio.
Right. That's all about cardio. We were all strong. We could all do it for numerous reps. It was like whose gas was going to run out first.
Yeah.
And
you always, you were an athlete. You were a football player. You played other sports. You've always had good cardiovascular fitness.
Oh yeah, yeah. I always worked on it. I had to.
So you are going to be, you're retired, but Michaela still, your wife Michaela is a bikini pro. She's barely just begun her pro career, so she's got, theoretically, I don't know, 10 or 12 more years of competing, maybe? You're laughing. Is my way off?
No, I hope not.
I mean, you competed for like 20 years.
Yeah, she's going to take a little time off to focus on, whatever it may be, improving her physique. And, if we can have a kid, if we can do that, that would be awesome too. She's young enough that. Hold on, Ron.
Yeah, your dog.
Yeah, come on.
Your dog's being a pain in the ass in the next room.
Barking at me. Sorry.
We both have dogs named Chewy. That's right.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
Your Chewy just turned 10. I saw on your house.
Yeah, he's 152 pounds.
Did he lose weight?
Yeah, no, he's a big tank.
Oh man!
But I can't believe he's 10. He was with me my entire pro career.
Wow.
He's been with me to every state imaginable. He used to go everywhere with me, to New Jersey, New York, up to Vermont, everywhere you can imagine.
This is not a dog you can put in your handbag, people. This is a massive bear-like creature.
Oh yeah,
Huge dog.
he looks like a little black bear.
He really does.
So yeah, Michaela she'll compete again for sure. She loves it. She was a lot of people. She was an athlete as well. She did cheerleading and gymnastics, and she's always very active. So we need goals, or there's no really justifying the dieting and the it's a lot harder anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah. Why would you go put yourself through all that crap for what?
Right.
To look good at the beach for a couple weekends out of the summer?
Yeah. So she's really enjoyed it and enjoyed the travel and meeting all the friends and getting on stage with these girls. And she's still young and still getting better. So she'll for sure continue to compete. But
I was going to say that now that you're retired, you're going to be kind of taking on the role at her shows of the helper, you know, the supporter, that she's she's been there for you these past few years.
Sure, for sure. But I'm not getting any younger either, so I'd love to have a kid at some point.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to.
December 29th, everybody. It's coming up. Is there still time to get your gifts in there? Where can they send their gifts? No?
Send them to the bostonmass.com.
Bostonmass.com, yeah.
There you go. Send them. Just have them send them to you, Ron. I'll give you a commission.
Okay, so because you will be 44?
I'll be 44.
44, that's right.
Tito, I can't believe that.
Tito, what's Tito's birthday? August
10th. He'll be 50.
Yeah, he'll be 50 next August. I'm right behind him. Ah.
Imagine that. He looks like a kid. People still ask who's older. I'm like, really? I'm like, all right.
Yeah. His wife, Amy Fadley Raymond, also killing it. She looks like she's been looking 30 years old for a very, very long time.
And she will be 54.
Wow.
In January.
Yeah.
Amy's 10 years older than me.
Wow.
She looks unreal.
Yeah, keeps in shape.
Yeah, she does, man. God bless her.
Oh, man. So, you know, you must have been inspired. Contest promotion is something sooner or later I imagine you want to get into.
I would love to.
Because you've been to so many, you've competed so many times yourself. You've been to so many good shows, so many bad shows, promoted well, promoted like crap, that you must have a whole list of things, ideas in your head. If I did a show, this is how I would want it to be.
100%. I would love to, and I want to. I just have to figure out the right way to go about it. Unfortunately, it's become all about money. Honestly, it's really just become, you know, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So a lot of people, it'd be hard to convince people of what I want to do, you know. And I have to start small and try to grow it. And you know, there's a lot of shows up here now. And, you know, I'd obviously have to talk to Weinberger and okay it through him and see, you know, he'd have to okay everything. So that's going to be the hardest obstacle, because I'm not sure he'd want to do what I'd want to do.
Yeah.
Because it's just got to make money, or people aren't going to want to have anything to do with it. I remember back in the day when Jimmy Dakotas used to do the New Englands, he would bring out 3-4 guest posers.
Yeah.
He would have Harleys on stage. He would have 7-foot tall trophies.
Yeah.
You know, you'd leave the place with 3 trophies, you know. It was crazy, and what an experience.
Yeah.
But it's not like that anymore, because it doesn't make sense to fly out all these guest posers, to pay them, to pay for the trophies. You would think now they'd be making more money, because the there's way more competitors.
Yeah, I mean, if you had, well, they don't pay entry fees as pros, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have like 200 pros in your show, like Tim Gardner had over 200 pros at that Tampa show a few months ago. It was insane. I think it was like 250. No, I think it was 300 pros.
Yeah, it was a record.
It was like 300 pros. It was nuts. The competitor meeting it looked like the audience of a show. It was ridiculous. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously all of us in Massachusetts would love to see you bring a pro show here someday. I looked up, but we did have one here once. I think it was in like the 70s or the early 80s or something. I want to say like Mike Mentor, Robbie Robinson were in it. It was that era.
Wow.
So, yeah, probably like late 70s. But if anybody could do it and bring a pro show to this area, you're the only one I could imagine.
No, I want to. I absolutely want to, and it's something that will be in the works within the next year or two. But like I said, it's got to make sense.
Yeah. Downtown Boston, probably not the most financially sensible place to hold it.
Yeah, unfortunately, no. But that's the only place that you'd be able to get people to come to. Like yeah. You can't have it in New Hampshire and have people fly into Logan and then drive an hour.
Yeah, fly into Manchester.
Right. You got to be able to have them near the airport. Right. A quick Uber ride away from the airport. So it's doable. It is doable. I've already scouted some venues. I had that seminar last, whenever it was.
Down at the seaport.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's, I'd love to do it there
Right.
because they can get there easy to the airport. There's hotels right there. There's a million restaurants and bars and places to go and have fun afterwards. So I was talking to them about venues and prices and, the time of year. And it's really funny that there's no 212 at the Arnold anymore because the best time of year to do it would be like that weekend.
Oh, wow.
And I would have to have a show. I'd have a 212 show, 212 Pro show the weekend of the Arnold. Imagine that.
You can't have it the same weekend as the Arnold. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, of course.
Everyone's at the because everyone's at the Arnold. Everybody's at the Arnold.
Yeah, well, no 212s.
Yeah.
Charles Dixon's the only 212 going to be there.
In the open, yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to see that.
Now,
I think he's going to shock some people.
Oh, I think so, too. He's the Tank. Now, I made it. You've been able to correct me so many times, so that's why I always ask you, because you always know the right answer on these things. I thought I was theorizing that the 212 is not at the Arnold anymore because not enough guys are applying for it. Am I right or wrong?
You're 100% right. That's what, that was the promoter's reasoning. Okay. Said not enough top name 212 guys were applying for it. So you can leave me out of that. I guess I'm not a top name 212 because I did it 5 years. They had it every year. Right. David Henry did it every year. You didn't have Flex and you didn't have Derek Lunsford. Yeah. I mean, I don't know who else. What other top 212 names are there?
Well, I mean, we're still in 2018. I mean, aside from you and David, there were no other big names in the show.
Ashkenani didn't apply, I guess.
Was Dixon?
Ashkenani didn't do it last year.
Right.
So I guess that's why. I don't know. I'm not buying it. I guess there were plenty of good competitors that didn't get chosen. I just don't think they know all the athletes as well as someone else might. Yeah. And how do you become a big name if you don't get a chance to compete? True.
But yeah, I mean, I could see it because there were 7 guys on the stage at the Arnold 212 this year, and that's just weak. That's like a first call out and one extra guy,
Right.
It's embarrassed because then the men's physique comes out, there's like 40 of them. Bikini comes out, there's like 40 of them. Figure, like 30, 40 of them. It's insane. They limit the open to like 12, but yeah, it is a bummer. It's hard to believe. It's only been a few years since they had the 212, so it's kind of crazy to see it go so fast. But
I think there should be only 10 in each division. Period. Boom. You take all that other money that you're flying all these people out, and you put it towards prize money.
Yeah. I mean, if it's invitation only, and if you want to have it a very elite event like the Olympia is. Yeah, limit it to 10 people per division. Yeah, you get out of there like an hour, 2 hours earlier, which is always cool.
Yeah. You'd be able to up the prize money.
Yeah. Well, you can say you're one of only like 5 guys to ever win that title.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Flex, you, Hide.
Me, Hide, Ashkenani, and Kamal.
Yeah, that's it. And now there's never going to be any more.
No. Well, they'll probably bring it back. I don't know. We'll have to see how that division does moving forward. How the guys, how it's promoted, how it's, we had a great run. We had a great group of guys that had been around for a long time prior to the division really taking place. I had a long history of winning national events. Flex Lewis was a legend a young kid coming out of England. Eduardo was one of the craziest physiques you'd ever see. He was madness every time he came to the stage. He had guys like Doug Dale and Kevin English and David Henry, people who had a following already to establish the group. Now, the guys that are coming up don't have much fanfare because they probably competed for a year or two and turned pro. Boom, that was it.
True.
I'm
a little, I don't want to say I'm worried. The division is going to be fine, but I kind of feel like you and Flex both did so much selfless promotion for the division over the years to make the division grow, sometimes at your own expense. Like going back to that story with Flex, he would, if promoters wouldn't fly like you and a few other guys out to these shows off in Asia or something, he said, I'm not doing your show. You either fly us all out or none of us.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't see too many of these newer guys doing anything like that, being that selfless to really feel like maybe they feel like the division's already grown to a place thanks to, you know, few guys who brought it to that level over many years.
Yeah.
Where they feel like, well, we don't need to do anything like that. We'll just, you know, I'm going to worry about me and I'm going to
Well,
do
I
my
can tell you
thing.
this, it's not going to flourish by itself. You know, people are going to have to continue to do things, positive things, to make it flourish, or it could be in trouble. You know, sometimes people are afraid to do things because they don't want to be the squeaky wheel. You know, but like I said, I refused to do these shows that were for $3,000.
Right.
I wouldn't do them anymore because I just didn't think it was fair.
Right.
You know, $3,000 to you call yourself a winner, and it costs you more the last month to get ready for the show than you won.
Yeah.
I know it gives you the opportunity to go to the Olympia, but
Well, that's changed now too.
yeah,
That's changed.
You know,
They changed that whole system now, so just winning a show isn't necessarily going to get you into the Olympia anymore.
well, for the 212 and open it will, but you know, for bikini or men's physique, there's so many shows now that I believe if there's 20 or more shows, you have to go by points.
Right.
So you may have to win 2 shows to get to the Olympia.
Right. Well, I mean, it makes sense because they pair up men's physique and bikini shows. They put with so many amateur shows every weekend all around the country.
Right.
So that's only fair because it's not like there's a 212 show every weekend.
Because they have to pay less as well.
Right. All right. Well, I've taken up enough of your time, Jose Raymond.
Okay, buddy. I'm
Birthday
sure
coming up December 29th again, everybody. December 29th.
December 29th. I'm a Capricorn.
And the Chewy the dog just turned 10. McKella turned 30 back. We're all getting older, everybody.
It's unbelievable. I can't believe it.
You still look fantastic, Jose.
Yeah, let's see what I can do.
Grow the beard back. I want to see the beard.
It's all white. I need a haircut. I got to start taking care of myself.
Cool. Thank you so much for taking the time. Everyone, I'm wishing you the very best with that surgery. I will see you at your good friend Matt's wedding before that.
Yes.
We'll have one last hurrah before they slice you open and give you a titanium hip for sure. And everybody.
Well, hopefully I'll see you before then anyway.
Yeah, I hope so. So let's make sure everyone knows the YouTube channel is called The Boston Mass.
The Boston Mass. My Instagram is The Boston Mass.
2 E's, The Boston Mass.
That's right. And you can reach me on Instagram, Facebook, and on the website, The Boston Mass. Or even at Muscular Development, I'm on there every day too. Still,
And
I don't always write things, but I read everything.
I have to make sure everyone knows the video content has gotten so good on your channel. You know, a lot of people just start their own YouTube channels like, it's nothing special. But you do these Q&As, you do opinion pieces, training, lifestyle. It's a whole range of videos on there.
Yeah, I do a bunch of different things. The other day I just did a bunch of nonsense kind of tutorial of how to perform an exercise properly. Really redundant to most people, but it's they will get views more than you would think because some people don't even know how to perform a tricep pushdown.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and I give little tips on how to do it right. Like I said, to some people it might be stupid, but if you don't like that, click on to the Lost in Japan. There's some funny stuff on there. Yeah. And that's something that nobody else does. Like, I flew my cameraman out to Japan with me.
Yeah.
And last year I flew him to Kuwait with me. So I got to really show everyone what goes on there. You know, we got video of the gym in Kuwait, Oxygen Gym. in Japan. We got video of everything, walking around backstage. You know, really, really cool stuff that nobody else was doing.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, what bodybuilder is going to fly their own video guy to Kuwait, to Japan? You know, maybe like Phil Heath. That's about it.
I wanted to. I wanted people to be able to see what I do, and you know, not just my fans, but my friends and family, who are like, "What do you do?" Like, "Oh, well, this is what I do. Go check it out." You know, you'll see me in Japan. You'll see me in Kuwait. You'll see me in Korea. I have a bunch of them out there where they follow me around, doing what I do on the weekend of a show. So it's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, you're an open book in so many ways.
Yeah.
People know exactly what you're up to.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
All right, dude. Thank you very much once again. I'm sure we'll do it again, and keep up the good work because you're kicking ass, man. I know you're busy and you know, putting a lot of time into this, and it's working out. So
appreciate it.
Keep it up.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you popping in on the MD forums. Very, very much appreciated. When you have the time and stuff, it's always cool. Even when it's just a little comment here and there, it's like, Jose, yes.
Yeah, I do every day.
Yeah.
I just sometimes I stop myself from commenting, but I'll definitely comment here and there.
Yeah, I know what you mean. All right. Cool, man. Thank you so much, Jose. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Ronline Report with the Boston Mass, Jose Raymond. We'll see you next time.
All right.